Welcome to the Tabletop System Wars panel. We appreciate that you guys came out. You're awesome, awesome people. We are the Gamer Assembly. We are presenting this panel to you. We're sort of just a group of people who really like games. It's a public group. You can drop into Google, you will find us. If you want to talk about games with us, it's easy. We've got an online IRC-based chat room. We've got a wiki with all sorts of information on it.
GamerAssembly.net gets you started.
GamerAssembly.net gets you started. That's the best place to go for Gamer Assembly. A lot of us freelance, some of us don't, but it's great for peer review if you're working on something as a designer, as a player, as a freelancer, and you want to people to look at it. Yeah. And as you might imagine, with people who devote this much of their time, sometimes while at their day job,
we never.
No, never have I ever.
Remember, this is going on YouTube.
It is. I love my job. We know a lot of games. We know a lot of games. We know a lot of systems, especially between us. So you heard me on the hallway. If you were here a little later than that, the Tabletop System Wars panel is going to be great fun. You are going to give us your awesome ideas, best ideas you ever had in your life for that campaign, that one shot you've always wanted to run. And we're going to tell you what system can make it happen.
Should have run it on.
You are And then we're going to tell each other that we're wrong and why we're wrong, and tell you what really the system is.
That's not going to happen at all.
No.
What I would like from you is when we get to your hands, get to your questions, I'm going to try to get to as many people as possible. Tell me your name before you tell us your idea. Okay? You can just be like, I am Brenda. That's great. Brenda, you're
Just
awesome.
remember that you picked Brenda.
Yeah. I'm not Brenda. I'm not Brenda. And to get us started, Jim's going to tell us a little story.
Back in my day.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Well, seriously, back in my day. Went to college at WPI, and I was there 89 to 90 for my first or second junior year. I'm not terribly clear on that. I fell in with a group of basically hackers. They're named Glico, and I think I'm still the vice president of paranormal affairs. But one of the things that Glico did is set up a Usenet board called WPI.Flame.
I'm going to interrupt you. There are a lot of young faces out
Yes,
there. You should
right.
probably explain what the Usenet is.
It's a forum. It's a forum.
It's basically the forum that was shared across
The
the entire internet at that time.
All 5 of them.
So, the purpose of WPI.Flame was to provide a safe blowing off point for all the anger and vitriol and crap that usually happens on the rest of the boards. So the flame wars would say, take it to flame. And everybody got on the flame, and everybody watched as the two people called each other worse and worse names. And eventually it always ended up with one person calling the other Nazi and the other one calling back Chode, and it was all done. Out for drinking, and everything was fine. That spirit is sort of what we're trying to go for here. We're going to get angry, we're going to get weird, we're going to get wild.
No, we're
but at the end of the day,
Yeah. No. But, and now, I want to make sure you guys know who the fighters are.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start at the end, Casey, with you again. Tell us who you are, give us a little snippet.
My name is Casey Peavler. I've been playing video games for a long time and tabletop role-playing games for significantly less time. Started with 4th edition D&D. And since starting with 4th edition D&D, I've played a lot of other games. I've played Star Wars, I've played Fate, I've played all kinds of stuff. So, and I've even designed it before. One thing I designed.
Cool.
Hi, my name is Tracy. I play and run a lot of indie games. I'm the token indie game hipster among the panel here.
You got the fedora home.
So that's about it. I read a lot of games, run a lot of games, go to conventions, meetups, run games.
What's your favorite game right now, Tracy?
Favorite role-playing game is Burning Wheel.
Oh. This is the Burning Wheel section. All right, Bob.
My name is Bob. I have been GMing and running games for entirely too long, probably more than 31-ish years now, but I've been in this hobby and doing this thing. It's really kind of sad. I have a ridiculously and inappropriately diverse RPG library at my home, much of which is about to be liquidated, as you see in front of you. I'm under orders to reduce size. Tracy has infected me with his indie hipsterishness, and I have lately been on a pretty hardcore kick for that. But like I said, I run and play damn near anything except Vampire the Masquerade. I don't know what.
Bravo!
Yeah, there's some areas that shouldn't be.
All right, cool. My name is Brent Newhall, also known as Dr. Worldcrafter. Proof. Exactly. My first role-playing game was the game of Nobilis back in 2001. A few, oh nice. Played various editions, I think all editions of D&D now. Plus a lot of indie games and various other games. I actually did an online group where I would play a different game every month. And we just tried to be different every single month and did that for a while. So exposure to a lot of different systems over time.
My name is Art, and I am the oldest gamer on the Gamer Assembly so far. Not by much. So I've been started out with D&D in the 70s, and have been playing just about, all kinds of crazy systems. I've spent a couple of multi-year campaigns in Shadowrun, and Star Wars, and Dark Sun. But my favorite system is called Earth Dawn, which is ostensibly a system that was the pre-time of Shadowrun, but the world's magic and the game mechanics are dear to me. I have some very fond memories of being a Scrang running through up and down the river, and
don't get him started.
Yeah. And so Earth Dawn is clearly the best system out there. Even though most of you have never heard of it.
Yep.
And
Great. Cool. My name is Jim, otherwise known as CW Wombat. Holy crap. I started gaming in 1981 with the Multi basic set, which is sweet, and I still have fond memories of it. Fell in with a crowd in high school, and we just tried everything. We went down to the game shop and picked stuff up. So we played Toon, we played Champions, we played Car Wars was big. What else? We had World, which is an incredibly broken system. When you learn a skill and you are suddenly worse at it than you were defaulting. So, I've spent a lot of time doing D&D. I was going to have a gauntlet of D&D Edition Wars, but that didn't happen since my throat is a little hot.
And you edit RPGs now?
I edit RPGs now. I do that for a living, so if you guys are interested, hit me up afterwards. And favorite game I'm still grooving on? Classic Traveler.
Oh. I'm Brian the Burge. I started with AD&D, though I think there was another edition out when I started AD&D. I've since played a lot of D&D. If you've heard my name on the internet, you probably know me as a freelancer for other people. I was one of the designers on the Midgard Bestiary for 4th edition for Cobalt Press. I've written a lot of D&D 4e for Cobalt Press. I've also written Pathfinder for Rage and Swan. I've got my own small company now called Beer Star Games. We do the pulp system. I've done a little Fiasco. Different stuff here and there. I'm really big on Cortex Plus and Dungeon World right now. Those things are all sorts of awesome.
Yeah.
So, now you know who we are. I want to see who's got an idea for an awesome game campaign, stuff like that. All right, guys over here. Beard guy first.
Beard guy was first.
Yeah, bigger beard. I'm sorry.
My name's Corey.
Corey.
No, Brenda. I said say Brenda.
Can you guys stand? Can they actually stand?
Yeah, Stan, give us your ideas.
I've been wanting to run a cyborg game for a while. I've run Shadowrun, I've run Cyberpunk 2020, and I want something that will be more granular for my players. I want them to be able to feel the modification mechanics and really feel kind of a trade-off where when you choose to augment, you lose something else.
And you've been doing that with Shadowrun? As best you can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, Shadowrun is super clumsy.
What sort of story are you looking to run? More investigative, more action-y, more thoughtful?
I would like something more action.
Okay.
I like a robust combat
The
mechanic.
system that you should use for that game.
How deadly?
Whoa. Okay, hold on a second.
I already know the answer.
I know.
The system that you should run that game in is called Alternative.
That's not what Bob said.
There's no question. Nobody even needs to heard
heard of Alternity?
Cyber guys, the game. All right.
Man said robust game mechanics. Modular game mechanics. The correct answer to this is GURPS 3rd edition with the Cyberpunk sourcebook. Fully laid out rules for hacking, individual character modification, for implants and modifications, while tracking the impact on their humanity. The more they impact, the more their humanity goes down. Tracy's head is exploding right behind me.
Are we allowed to agree with him?
You can agree with
This man clearly wants his players to stay awake.
What, Bob? I thought you were going to argue for Eclipse Days. Eclipse Days is all about modification.
He said granular mechanics.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair.
Had he not said granular mechanics, I'm all about the Eclipse Phase. Okay. He also did not mention anything about post-humanism, which might throw him for a loop and cause brain reboot. I don't want to. I love Eclipse Phase.
Yeah, Eclipse Phase, though. Yeah. There you go. So he knows about that already, but it's not what he's looking for. Tell me your senior system one more time.
GURPS.
GURPS. No, but with.
Oh, GURPS 3rd edition specifically.
Yeah.
Rid of that new, I want to make everything all better. There's nothing wrong with 3rd edition. Shouldn't have been revised to 4th.
Yeah.
There's a Cyberpunk sourcebook for it. The 2nd edition of the Cyberpunk sourcebook, written by Lance Blankenship. Their offices, the Steve Jackson Games offices, were in fact raided by the Secret Service when they were in the process of publishing this book because it was believed by the United States government that they were publishing a handbook for computer crime. That alone makes it awesome. Never mind that it fits all of your criteria.
Real quick, who doesn't know anything about GURPS? All right, just a few of you. GURPS is an older system. It's designed to let you do absolutely anything. There are so many GURPS books that have been published, it would completely fill this backlog. So like that.
I still love Steve Jackson, the kick of the shins, because I was just
Universal Role-Playing System.
So when I asked Bob to tell me specifically what he means by GURPS, it's important. Because if you just go looking for GURPS, you won't find what he was just talking about.
If you're going to read a universal rulebook that does everything, I was not allowed to bring my GURPS library because it's too heavy.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Go ahead.
Are you guys counter?
No.
No.
Quick tip on that. Mentioning GURPS. GURPS has awesome source books. You can kind of
Ignore everything. Star Wars, Star Trek, Water Worlds,
Watership Down.
Fantasy.
Yeah, Doctor Who book.
Doctor Who
So
book.
as a general summary, a GURPS sourcebook contains about 15% rules crunch. Yeah, the rest of it is all background, and the rest of it is
patch other systems.
Yes. And they literally cover everything. They won an award last year for their book on social engineering, very specifically. They've covered everything in one of these books. Yeah. So even if you're just trying to add something to your own game, you can probably find a GURPS book that's a tried. That's tried.
Or if you want a system that can run pretty much anything. I mean, there isn't anything that you can't run under GURPS. I mean,
you can run it.
It does stand for generic universal role-playing system.
Yeah, but you don't want to run it.
Right.
All right. Different question about Phoenix.
All right.
Tell us your names.
Oh, sorry. Tara. Name is.
Is that your real name?
That is my real name.
Tara, can you stand? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Tara, and I ran one session of this, but didn't really work out on the system I was working on, and it's a plane-hopping detective agency in a noir style. So thoughts on that?
Plane-hopping detective agency.
How serious? How much?
I want it to be like there are definite repercussions to what they do, but more fun than serious.
Is comedy okay? Is comedic game like a funny example?
Comedy is okay.
Comedy's okay, but not the point.
Not the point.
Okay.
Are you going for a fantasy or a sci-fi?
I was doing a sort of mixture. I was doing more of a steampunk.
Okay.
I have
Go ahead.
Do you have a plot in mind, or did you find it that you
I had a plot in mind, but it's very complicated. It's based off that system's universe. Cosmology, or
Okay. I think Brent wanted to go first.
I have the answer. It is called the Coin's Hard Edge. I came across the guy who designed this. It is a D2 role-playing system. It is designed specifically for noir. And you simply have a few basic attributes, and you flip for it. And then there are opposing flips for what you do. But the brilliant thing about it is that noir is a very black and white, simple thing. You try this, it doesn't happen, okay, do something else. So it's really, really good, especially at 1 or 2 game one-shots when you're not quite sure what system you want or what you want to do. It just gets you into the noir mood. It is really easy to learn, and it just fits that really well.
All right, Tresi disagrees with me.
Well, I would use Inspectors, which is not noir anything. Inspectors is it's basically a Ghostbusters / Office Space, Office Politics sort of game. There's very basic stats, be very easy to port to different settings. But basically, your characters pick numbers for their stats, and when there's any sort of question about what's going on or whether they want to take an action, they look at their stat, that's how many dice they roll, d6s. If they roll the highest number that they roll, if it's a 6, they narrate what happens. Like they say, oh, I'm going to investigate this, bloody handkerchief that's on the floor. They roll 6, they say what the bloody handkerchief leads them to. If they roll a 1, then you say what happens.
Oh.
And if they roll in the middle, then that's where the comedy usually fits in. They get sort of what they want. Like, oh, it leads to the wrong person. It could be an interesting sort of twist. Or, for example, there's rules for generating technology. So say, I need a magnifying glass. So that is a little simple. I need a boombox to help me solve this mystery. If they roll poorly, then you say, okay, use the boombox, but it doesn't quite work. Or something.
It's haunted.
It's haunted. So you would have to, reskin it a little bit for the setting, but if you don't want to know what the mystery is in advance, like the way it works in Ghostbusters mode is someone calls up, there's a table for rolling for random clients what their problem is. And as a GM, you don't know what it is, right? You just know that's what they're complaining about, and as you investigate, the players will add things, and you'll add things, until you find out what the mystery is. There's a piece of mechanic for it. It'll let you conclude.
Okay, that's interesting, but Casey disagrees with you.
Dresden Files role-playing game. For those of you not familiar with it, they would require a bit of hacking on your part to accomplish what you're trying to do. It is a role-playing game system based on modern fantasy series about a private detective who is also a wizard.
Business cards.
Yeah. Uses the fate system. You can pretty much create whatever character you like. Anything. And there's a huge fan community that you could make that if you wanted to. If you hated fun. And there's a huge fan community that has compiled a gigantic list of additional resources that created by the fans, by the community, that you can use and incorporate in your very own game. And someone has probably already created rules for exactly what you want to do.
Okay.
You're wrong. Not quite. I will say that the issue with Dresden Files is it can be a little crunchy in terms of how everything works. Setting everything up to work in Dresden Files and setting all the rules, you can certainly do it. It's going to take a little time and effort. So that's kind of the back end, is that understanding how all that fits together. It's a very tightly integrated system. So you really want to understand how that works. Instead of showing spell does this, number, boom. That's the problem.
You also need buy-in from your players because they also need to understand the system to actually use it well.
There are places in Tabletop itself.
Okay, true. Paul, I know you've got something that you want to say.
So Tresi actually came closest to getting the right answer. These other two are this world hopping that we're talking about, right?
Yes.
And adventure, you want excitement to build. You want the players to become excited as we move towards these overarching action scenes and things like that. So we want success to be spectacular, and you want failure to be really, really exciting too. So here's what I'm thinking, and bear with me for a second, okay? It requires a genre hack and a slight system modification, okay? We're going with Dread, okay?
Wait just a second. Do you want this to last more than one session?
That's a very valid question.
You do.
Okay.
Maybe.
The shtick for Dread, it uses a Jenga tower as part of system resolution. That's where I talked about the genre. Going from horror to high excitement, with a noir twist and everything. Here's what I'm thinking, right? When it comes time for action resolution, because you want to be quick, fast, and exciting, let them narrate what they want to do, and they make a pull. But here's the physical hack. We're also throwing it under serious time limit.
Yep.
It's got to be fast. They're not allowed to We're not trying to build that kind of tension. We're just eventually get it on the thing. Oh crap, I got it. We're not doing that. This is just for the actions. It's going to succeed. We want these actions to be big. We want them to narrate, not just I swung across the road, but I swung across the road. I slid down here, I knocked this guy out, turned around, snatched the girl, and ran away. And that's what.
No.
That's how you get dates?
Yes.
So, quick FYI about Dread. So the idea behind Dread is that you have a Jenga tower, you want to try something, you pull a block. Your character sheet is a list of very invasive questions.
I said there was a lot of hackery involved.
Yes. Things like, why do you always wear combat boots? Or, you know,
Do they know about that girl you murdered?
Yeah. How did you get away with it? And then, so you pull blocks. If the tower falls over while you're pulling a block, you die. Then you rebuild the tower, make a few pulls, everyone else goes. And it continues on like that. So it's very much a horror-driven game that way. But it's a brilliant mechanic for building Dread.
Yep, it's true. That was a very cool idea, but let me tell you why Bob's wrong. Because if you're going to pull Jenga pieces that quickly, and you're forcing them to do so, that means you're going to be knocking it over a lot. And maybe you don't enforce when you knock it over, they're dead, that's fine. You got to keep rebuilding that Jenga tower, you keep losing your cases.
How do you think you keep players from playing with their dice?
No, you're wrong. All right, we can move on. Because I'm not going to tell you who's right. Oh, do you want to do one more thing?
Oh, no. Well, I mean, you know.
No, let's move on. All right, I'm going to put in a new rule here real quick. We're going to do questions. Before you jump in, I'm going to make sure we don't have any more questions before we start suggesting systems.
That's a good idea.
All right, I'm going to moderate you.
You're not.
I want to go back to you because I called you out earlier and I said no. So would you stand out, tell us your name and your idea?
So I'm James. So I was thinking you have.
What you should do is.
So you have a group of heroes raised from birth to overthrow the gods to end their monopoly on magic.
Okay. That's okay. All right. Questions for him. Questions for James.
Honestly, I don't think there's a setting where that wouldn't be awesome.
All right. You know,
Fantasy show.
like modern times, what's your time frame? Modern times, you know.
Like are these superheroes or are these like
off in Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, is it like D&D-esque, you know, high fantasy, elves and dwarves?
I was thinking of it in the D&D universe
Right.
style, but if you think there's a better universe for that, I'm up for it.
But we're thinking fantasy, swords and sorcery.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Must they win?
Ooh.
And are these the main characters?
Well, if they're not going to win, it's going to be a not very long campaign.
Okay. But so they can wait. They can win or they must win.
Good point. Is it about the struggle or
Yes.
is it about the plot?
I did a Greek fantasy campaign. Players died, you went after them.
Alright, so it's maybe. It's maybe. Alright, great. Any more questions? Questions?
Action, story, what's your main focus there?
Supporting part action, but at least some story abilities. Like, no.
So he's thinking on a
How many sessions do you want your campaign to do? Do you care or?
You don't have to care.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, cool.
So it could be as short as a one-banger, 5 or 6 encounters.
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, go like this if you got an idea. Great, Tracy.
There's a gentleman, a game designer by the name of Brian Mack. He
Thank
wrote
you.
a game called Mythender.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you're looking for.
Yes.
You play heroes who are out to murder the gods. And why you're murdering the gods is up to you. But like you literally, it has a sort of a Nordic theme. You're literally, like one of the first things you do is start with murdering Thor. Okay? And you can work your way up to, you work your way up to Odin. Okay? Drawback, it requires literally hundreds of dice. Like you need 100 d6s to run this game. You're trying to build power and you fill your hands with these d6s.
Well, man, he's like,
A lot of these stuff. Go to Chester, find out the cube blocks.
Yeah.
And get a couple of those.
He has a special box of dice
There
that has
are
20.
pretend to make it easy to count.
Okay.
So, the other thing we work about is, as your heroes murder the gods, they become less human, and that could be bad. You become like ethereal. You gain these traits that are non-human. You have trouble interacting with humans. So the edge of the knife, the thing you're bouncing is you have to worry about not becoming a god yourself, but then the other players will murder you, which is also awesome. It's also freely available. So Mythender, one word, Google it, find it. It's great.
I'm gonna let Brent go next and then you can go crazy.
Wrong. There's actually a game that's coming out soon that it does it even better. It's called Eternity by Mark Diaz-Truman. He does a lot of amazing games. You basically build a pantheon in play, and then you determine your pantheons, archons, and children, and all these sorts of things. Based on how you built your gods determines what abilities they have, and then you roleplay out the consequences of you screwing up their lives. And then what that does to the world, because you're a god, you can change things. So you're actually playing out their lives, and then one of the neat things is every session advances 50 years of their time. So next session, all of these children, all these archons, all these people have aged 50 years. Deal with it and play more. So you can do some really interesting things there. It's more God-focused, but you're playing those characters. I win.
I didn't actually expect to use this one. Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition. It is the single most action-oriented role-playing game ever invented by a human being, with a few minor tweaks. Use the escalation dice mechanic from 13th Age to make combat go faster, because that is the big problem with 4th edition, is that combat can take forever. Give players a time limit. Those are your two big things. You need them to make decisions. You need to make them now.
If you do that, it makes it really short-form game. Like start at epic level.
Yeah.
That was the one I forgot to say.
Start at high level before the length of sessions.
The other one. Read up on World Breakers. They are a combat mechanic for monsters developed by Quinn Murphy. It's still on his old blog, 480 at Will, I think was the name of it. You can find it if you just Google him, Quinn Murphy, or World Breakers. They add skill challenge mechanics to solo monsters. And just stabbing them repeatedly is not the easiest way to kill them.
Okay. Now, I need to interrupt the line for a second because something unprecedented is going on. Zed wants to support what Casey is saying.
I think that you should use 4th edition.
Just straight up.
Is there a reason for what you said?
Well, I mean, it is action oriented. I'm just making a joke.
No, that's
I was going to agree with him.
Yeah.
But it is a good mechanic. You seem to know it, right? You've been playing 4th edition or 3rd. Oh, it's all the same genre. And,
Jim has been to say he's going to talk about. Jim's going to go and then Bob's going to go.
If you need to extend it where they're taking over the God of Magic, I would take a look at the Immortals set. The Gamer set. Right, you stole my there are rules for basically becoming a god, loving almost a god, and becoming more and more.
Go box set. You can find them on eBay.
Actually,
isn't that the opposite of what he said, though?
Not yet.
That's the opposite of what he said. He wants to beat the gods. He wants to beat the gods. And one of the cool things about D&D is that they have a very rich god. You know, there's a lot of source books about the gods. You can play it. The one thing I did disagree with is that I think you could do this at first level because you don't have to start with, Tiamat. You know what I mean? You can have lesser gods. You can have first level guys and take out the lower level.
I agree. The big problem with starting at higher tier, there's too much crap to keep track of. You're saying, here's a level 30 character sheet. You have 175 features.
So that was a great question. Just to ride on that last bit, if you look at loremaster.org, they have an open wiki there, and they did a project a little while ago where they were standing up like ancient Greek gods and ancient Aztec gods for 4th edition. So you've got things to look at there, and they're not all 30th level. So you've got a little more wiggle room. There's also a god in my book, the Midgard Bestiary for 4th edition. I want another question. Here's the Eunice.
Alright, my name is Emily, and I apologize in advance for this, but I need a one-shot, maybe 6 hours, really ridiculous, going with the idea of anthropomorphic badgers and a papal conclave.
Oh, okay. I'm going to start. I'm going to start, and you can go a little bit more, all right? BESMD20. You can download the PDF. You can sometimes find it in the stores. It's a really cheap book. It's usually is only $10 physically. It is D20 is open source. You'll find lots of material. BESM is Big Eye, Small Mouth. It's the anime role-playing system that was then converted for the D20 system, and it's got everything you just said. You can totally do it. Yes. All right, now disagree with me.
Wait, Gamma World 4th edition has anthropomorphic badgers.
That's all you got. Okay.
And it's Gamma World.
I don't know what's your opinion on this one. We're going to go right down
The one-shot thing is the weakest part of my answer, but I would say Primetime Adventures, which is a game for making basically like a season of a television show. And it's got episode mechanics. Each episode, someone is highlighted. Like everything's about that episode. Like, so imagine any sort of TV show you could do with this, and it sounds like you guys have to agree on the setting. In this case, Couple Badgers. But once you do that, I think it's really work.
All right. Do you have an idea, Bob, or you know?
Of course I do. I have the correct answer.
The
correct answer is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness Sources.
Hell yeah!
Which uses a, I don't know if this is a joke or not, it uses a streamlined version of the rules for Rift. Yes, you can be badgers in various stages of anthropomorphism. Just barely getting up to fully my people. Pay that by
It's entirely random character creation as an option, and you can make crazily bad and or broken characters in that, so just watch out.
Which is great for a one-shot.
Yeah. The humor should come from the game or interactions with the rules. Okay, your choice.
Yeah.
What else we got?
I can't beat that.
That's fine.
All along, what you want is Microscope. You know why?
Oh.
Because it's such an interesting world with anthropomorphic badgers in it. I mean, really, come on.
Yeah.
The thing about Microscope is that it's designed to make, the game is about designing a world. And Microscope.
Okay.
Sweet. I got two for you.
Oh.
Bunnies and Burrows. Just modify it. And if you really want to go over the top, go for two.
Okay.
Just
Two is the RPG of cartoons.
The thing about Microscope is you're making sort of you're making a world and a shared history in that world.
Yeah.
That may or may not be. You're not going to be role-playing the Badgers per se a whole lot. You may just be dealing with Badger history through the time.
Badger lore.
Looking at the intrigue of a path conflict.
It might be a great session 0.
To
Sit
make
down.
the
That's a
Badger
good
history.
idea.
Yeah.
Session 0 Microscope, and then I would say 2.
Okay, you want to go on the top.
All right.
Because there's such a window and what's in the here.
I want a question from this part of the audience. I haven't seen it yet. A smiley guy in the green.
All right. So,
What's your name?
I'm Will.
Yes.
And what I'm working on is basically a world, sci-fi world, where magic has just been discovered and it's completely fucked over everything that has to do with technology, including the interstellar travel. So what I'm working on is an idea where it's mostly action-based, but also exploration-based, where basically the people go and find out what's happened to the world with the introduction of magic in the past several centuries.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Bob. Bob. No, Bob.
Because of its flexibility and the focus on interstellar travel, the correct answer to this is diaspora.
Yes, that's what yes.
It can be one.
Okay. Yeah.
Diaspora is a fate-based game. What's the publisher name? Session 0, like most fate-based games, involves world creation, but it's in creating different star systems and how those star systems are linked together and the disparities in technology levels between them. Magic could be a profound influence in there. So a little bit of hacking, but it'll fit pretty good.
It sounds like your game might go crazy.
Hope so.
I was looking at Cthulhu Tech just because it's a bunch of crazy stuff. Now the dice mechanic is weird, and there's like mech and anime and all sorts of weird influences in there. There's probably something in there that you should look at.
All right.
Fair warning to people in the room, there may be several triggers in that book.
It's weird.
Yeah, in all seriousness.
Alright, so this will require a very minor bit of hacking, but classic Traveler, because it has systems for exploration, and you can create any critter you want based on that system. The interstellar travel bits you can rip out, you can repurpose psionics to be the magic that shows up, and it should be a fairly easy go. It's all built around exploration.
Okay. All right. Are we?
I have a cop-out answer.
A cop-out answer?
A cop-out answer.
All right.
Or nothing. The cop-out answer is GURPS.
Wait, we established this rule. GURPS what?
What?
The 4th edition GURPS is what I was thinking of.
With what?
With what?
With the,
It has a full travel.
It does.
All right.
With GURPS Space and GURPS Vehicles Volume 1.
Yeah.
So you can make your own spaceships.
If you really want to hack stuff, Traveler 5 is coming out too, and that has what is it? Weapon creator, armor creator, vehicle creator. So if you want to really go nuts, pick up T5.
One final question. How far off the rails are you willing to go?
Let's see how far I am.
Okay.
2.
Answer?
Paranoia.
I agree.
It'll go off the rails so fast and so far, you never see your game again.
Yes, I agree.
Sure, it is your friend. Welcome to the Gamma.
All right. I want a question from the back 3 rows. Not you, Mega Man. Mega Man, stand up. I'm going to get to you, sir. Mega Man.
Yes, okay. Hi, my name is Nathaniel, and I was wondering if you had a suggestion for a system that would suit kind of a sci-fi exploration thing that's a world with magic. The players would be part of some sort of crew. They'd be going on missions around the world. And there would be an overarching kind of plot line that would be mainly episodic adventure exploration.
Ooh, questions, sir.
Yeah. Who's sending you on these missions?
I actually haven't figured that part out. It was probably them for profit to begin with, but they'd be recruited by a higher power that would be like giving them mission purpose. So.
I have a question because you said sky flying things.
Yes.
Is this like fantasy like powered airships, or are we talking about like steampunky or
a little bit of both? There's definitely going to be a magical source to it, but the machinery that's controlling it, there'll be engineers behind this stuff.
Okay.
I got it.
Any more questions? All right. I'm gonna let Brent start so I can disagree with him.
And I'm just taking notes. I'm not paying attention to you guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Savage World.
Oh.
It's designed for pulp. There's enough crunch to be able to do things. They have vehicle rules. The print book is like $10.
Okay. Casey.
Pilgrims of the Flying Temple.
Ooh.
Dope.
Dope. An extremely mechanics-light game that entirely revolves around players' storytelling abilities. And it is built around pretty much exactly what you just said, player places where pirates.
All right, that's cool.
I actually have a slight endorsement to Casey's. Now,
go ahead.
while Joe is technically a story writing game, it involves writing the story, a shared story on a piece of paper. There's no reason it couldn't just be a roll game using as inspiration. That said, if you're okay with very rules light, and you want to focus on story, and you're creative enough to take something that's designed for short form and turn it into long form, Lady Blackbird would be very good.
Yeah. You guys? No? Sorry. Okay, go ahead, Tracy.
I would suggest Dungeon World, just because Dungeon World is basically a basically D&D.
How long did it take before Tracy went to Dungeon?
Dungeon World is I wouldn't even call it D&D clone. It's just they want the game D&D to come out, but they use different mechanics to do it. It's extremely expensive. It's $10 PDF. But if you want to make a skyship and go explore it, it sounds like you're basically doing adventuring. I would totally do Dungeon World. You have to hack a little bit or add some custom moves to do exactly what you want, but
It's extremely rules light with a delicious retro taste.
Brent has been inspired to be wrong.
Yes. I will change my answer to Reese's.
Ooh.
So Reese's, I will.
Delicious peanut butter cups?
Yes.
No, it's R-I-S-S-U-S.
R-I-S-U-S, actually, for the monkeys.
There's only one S?
Well, there's 2 S's.
Okay, that's fine.
I will describe the rules for Reese's right now. You have a total of 10 dice to put into cliches, D6s. So you split those up however you want to. When you do something, you choose a cliche that's appropriate, you roll those dice. You add them together, that's your result. If you do not succeed, that's versus the target number. You do not succeed, you lose 1 cliche and a die. 1 die and a cliche, you lose all the dice in 1 cliche, you're knocked out in some way.
Okay.
There are massive amounts of material online for Reese's. It is ideal for pulp stuff, and it is very easy to get players into it because you just, here you go, 20 minutes in, you're playing the game.
I disagree.
Yes.
Spelljammer for Spelljammer.
Oh yeah. Well, wait, which edition?
3.5, I think they had a supplement. They had to be only 3.
Do you really want space hippos in your game?
First of all, Reese's is going to get silly fast. It gets silly fast.
Yeah, you can.
It does. It does. The answer, because I can tell you're an enterprising young fellow, you don't mind doing a little bit of legwork if you have to, is Dragon Brigade. The Dragon Brigade opening salvo is available on Drive Through RPG. I believe it's free right now, right? It is free. It is based around the Cortex Plus mechanics, which have been explored in other systems. So if you want to cheat a little bit and just clone some stuff that exists, you can look at Marvel Heroic. Similar. Leverage is similar.
Firefly's coming.
Firefly's coming. Actually, Firefly's going to have a lot of the same ideas as Dragon Brigade. Dragon Brigade is about sword and sorcery type people with some guns, flying airships and doing awesome things. Yeah.
Show off.
sir.
You're welcome. And the gentleman I just pointed out a moment ago. Yes.
All right. Fairly rich sci-fi setting. Hosting with every culture, so go ahead and get interpreted as gods.
You're wrong. You didn't tell us your name.
Yeah, that's Chris.
Chris.
Big deal is starting off small, more of a troubleshooting heist team that starts getting wrapped up into figuring out what's going on and going up from there.
I have no questions, but the answer is already there.
Yeah, the answer is Shadowrun.
I mean, you should probably describe
How about
Shadowrun.
incorrect?
Do you not like Shadowrun?
Shadowrun, I love how being just on a travel park. So.
Oh. Shadowrun.
Shadowrun.
Especially use the word troubleshooters, which means you're already going with Paranoia.
You said you wanted them to become gods?
They're more than welcome to go down that path.
What does godhood mean to you? Like, does that mean they can murder people with their mind, or does that mean they can create worlds, or what?
They would get to the point of creating worlds, although what's happened in the history, the background story is they get there, that's how every god has existed into the past, and then after a couple of years they lose interest because, you know, they don't care how deep
This is sci-fi, right? That's what he stipulated? All right.
You want to hear the correct answer?
No, yeah, I want to hear the correct answer.
All right, so the correct answer. So two key things. One, you mentioned like troubleshooting, plotting, scheming, things like that. Two, you mentioned what I call proficiency porn. It's about people that are so ultra, it's all about them just being insanely good at what they do. Right? Okay, so the answer to this is leverage. Reskin as sci-fi.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
That is a good answer.
No, it's not a good answer. All right, go ahead, Jason.
The defense rests.
I'm not sure where you can go once you reach godhood. I don't think there's a whole lot there after godhood.
I think that's where we hit the end game.
Okay, so I would just use Microscope, which someone else previously mentioned. You just start, you're making an entire history, in this case sci-fi, so it's like the history of like a solar system or something, right? And you can start at the beginning of time where the sun was created, and the end of time when it's supernova, and you can play out various interesting scenes during that, and the result of playing will generate a story about this solar system.
But you're looking for dice rolling crunchiness?
I prefer no crunchiness.
Oh,
there's no dice in Microscope.
No dice.
But if you wanted to continue on once you hit gods, if you wanted that to be an option, I'm going to screw up the names, you can help me. Young Gods of New Worlds? What is the full name of that game? Just look up Gods of New World, okay? Because you'll get the rest of the title. Which is a game about new gods, sort of, developing their people and like trying to establish their pantheon and growing to become even better gods when there are already existing gods that they have to deal with as well. And the PDFs are out there, the books are out there. It is light on the mechanics, but there is still some crunch.
I'll throw something else in there. If you want to focus on the exploration of the Star Trek V storyline, I'm sorry, mind bleach. Exactly. Anyway, if you want to focus on that idea of players exploring a strange world and finding out about these gods, Dread.
Well, yeah, Dread is the Jenga game we talked about.
Yeah. If you want one shot and you want people to die.
Yeah,
but it's a great one shot, so
yeah,
try it.
All right, so we are getting to an interesting point. So I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. There's a lot of stuff up the table behind us. Like a lot of stuff. And everybody here is going to get a chance to look at it. So I want to see the hands of people who really have no idea what system they could possibly use. Where are those people? You seem pretty confident that you got nothing. Let's stand up and give us your name.
I'll tell you why I have nothing.
Okay.
My name is Shauna, and I have played exactly 2 systems at this point in my life. I'm writing a book about identical twins with superpowers, and I have this idea with these twins where the one twin is a control twin, and the other twin is a powered twin. So the idea with the role-playing game is with all the roles that you're doing, at some point you lose one of the twins, and you're out.
Okay.
That's the bit I can't figure out for that.
Is somebody playing 2 twins, or?
Yeah, each person plays themselves.
Okay.
There is a game for this. There is a game that is almost this exact setup. I believe it is called The Girl and the Dragon. It is a mechanic in which there is a girl who will destroy the world. And you are setting up the characters and basically the 10 pins you're going to knock down to figure out what that means and what happens. and you're role-playing as a character, you can absolutely set it up so that you have 2 central characters in that, or however many you want. It is more narrative in style. It is designed, I believe it is designed so it can be multi-session. Often in these sorts of things, oh, you're it, world ends, or whatever. But it's designed so you can really stretch that out if you want to do more of like a mini-series type of idea.
Do you want campaign or one-session?
I'm comfortable with both ideas.
I would consider using Cybron, which is a relatively new game. You start out as an Ajax, but you all have powers, and you're being used by someone. So I think it'd be an interesting setup to have 2 people who are in a control power situation.
So the one I'm thinking of is Unknown Army. I couldn't figure out how to...
Say it again?
Unknown Army. I couldn't figure out how to...
There's another game called Shock, which is about exploring social science fiction. It's about exploring various sci-fi issues, and that's like control power, psychic power, nuclear power. Seems like an interesting shock that you could use. Yep.
Monsters and other challenge things?
That's what I was going to say.
That's what I was going to say. We're just going to have the monster be the joint with powers.
Oh, that's all that relationship.
Isn't there a role-playing game where you set up a character and then the person next to you plays your evil clone?
Ooh. That's a variation on champions.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, Wraith did that classic.
Yeah, Wraith did that.
I think that's
but
what
Shock also,
Shadow.
in Shock, you play both your protagonist and someone else's antagonist. It's actually a GM-less game, but the way it works out is like, there will be those 2 characters, but you're not going to be controlling both of them. You're going to be controlling one, someone else going to play your antagonist. And as you rotate, you have your own antagonist, and someone else is going to play that.
And this might actually be really good for Primetime Adventures.
Yeah.
Because it's basically, it sounds exactly like a TV show. A really interesting one. So, okay, we're not going to go there.
Are you good, Zed? Or?
Oh,
okay, that was a good one. That was tough. You, sir. Yes, you.
All right, I'm sorry. My name's Alex. You're fine.
No, I'm not apologizing to you. Go ahead. What's your name one more time?
Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic kind of world, future technology. Most cities are kind of spread out. There's not much in between them, mostly wasteland. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse kind of swept over the world. The trick is, the part that I'm having trouble figuring out, is that I want the players to be in charge of large organizations, or at least like something like that. The main players in those, there's going to be kind of like an undercurrent of magic users and stuff like that. Big corporations that are in charge of kind of like cybernetic stuff. You got state governments that have like military and psionics locked down. So.
Okay. How magical do you need it to be?
It's actually almost completely unknown to anybody but the magic users. So
Okay.
It's pretty.
I suggest.
Does anybody have another question? That was an interesting one. No, good. Tracy, go.
I would consider using Apocalypse World. I've sort of heard of it. It's a post-apocalyptic game. The nature of the apocalypse is unknown, so if you want to make it before the horsemen, you can do that. You actually can decide to play it as players. It's very player-driven. So if you have a plot in mind, you don't want to do this game because you are not allowed to have a plot when you're jamming this game. You have various fronts that you deal with the GM controls. These are various organizations and what they want, and you basically respond to what the players are doing. You wind the game up like a clock and let the players just hit you with things and fail at things, and then that's when you respond.
Brent, tell us the real answer though.
Sure.
So the idea of the game is that you are colonists sent to a world that had a really, really optimistic report sent back about it. Meaning that, so you play both the administration and the scumbags, who are basically at war with each other.
Have we mentioned it's a prison plan?
Yeah.
It's Australia.
It's basically Australia. It's Australia. It's Australia. So the advantage is
nowhere it's anywhere near as deadly as Australia.
One of the neat things is you can have lots of vague threats, you can have very specific threats, and it's exactly built to handle, I govern this part of things. I take care of these things. I'm trying to stop that and working through that. The game is designed more for one-shots, but you could very easily extend this over multiple sessions.
Okay, Bob, why is Brent wrong?
Brent is wrong because they're, I'll throw a caveat. Are you okay with crunch?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're okay with crunch, this game has already been written with the exact world you described, with the exception of the Four Horsemen and all that, and dial back the magic in it a lot. It's called Alpha Omega. Very crunchy, but the world you're describing is post-apocalyptic. Every bad thing that could happen to humanity has already happened. People are separated into huge city-states or smaller settlements. It's got magic, but you can dial that back a bit. The wilderness, the wasteland in between is the big focus of it, but it is very crunchy.
Casey, you have a system we've heard of?
13 days.
My friend.
It is you'll need to hack it a little bit.
13 age.
Yeah, it is a D20 game that what I struck on what you said is that your players have control or influence over big organizations.
Yeah, that's not
one of the core mechanics of 13th Age is the 13 icons. They are powerful NPCs that can be reskinned as organizations, and each character has direct relationships and some sort of influence over up to 3 of them. Okay. And that's a direct mechanical feature of the game. In addition to that, you want to take home and read this book and cannibalize it for that. Yes! If you don't have it, you go.
Just give them the book right there.
Yeah.
It's a Dark Sun campaign set.
Oh. If you want something really crunchy, yeah. Was that Alex? If you want something really, really crunchy and you want to just sort of ongoing, you could, if you wanted to, hack Birthright. You're basically in control of the realm and anything going.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
mean,
it's not out yet?
No. First of all, all right, no. And Tracy, okay? Because I know you have something to say. But first of all, Monty Cook didn't even finish the game and put the Kickstarter up, all right? He's got no idea what's going on. He's just got pretty pictures. We're going to see this game sometime in the future. And and by the way, he charges extra for all of these stretch goals, right? Don't support that. Don't support that. No. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I'm done with your questions. But if you do have other things that you need help hacking out, gamersibling.net. There's people in there all the time. There's a live chat room. Like
We've got nothing better to do.
We've got nothing. I disagree.
We kind of have those 2 children thing that kind of.
Oh yeah. But I would like everyone what? Gamersibling.net. Just drop Gamersibling into Google or come up to me like, Brian, you have a business card? And I'll give you a business card.
Casey's also got business cards.
Yep. Don't walk away yet, people. We're going to give you some stuff. All right, real quick. Oh yeah, there's business cards here. Roll the dice for me real quick. What's that one?
5 would be...
Will, come here for a second. I mentioned that we were sponsored by Battleground.
Battleground Games and Hobbies, the local retail gamer store here. To donate to us a prize. So Will gets to choose here the 3-book set of either the collector's edition, first edition D&D books, or the third 3.5 edition ones they just came out with. One caveat: one of them's missing, so you can pick a different book instead. So first edition or third edition plus a different book.
First edition.
All right. All the people who gave us systems a chance to grab something before the horde descends. Yes. Everyone sit down. All right, give me a roll real quick. 8 would be... Chris. No, Chris is 7. 8 is Shauna. Shauna, you get 5 seconds when I call the next name. 4, 3.
All this is going on. I'm running a version of Paranoia at 6 o'clock, and I need some additional players. So if you're interested in that, come on up.
Chris!
And while we're waiting on that, as soon as this is over, I'm running 13th.
Tara!
Another plug for Battleground. They're the only people who have these that I've seen here. In various sizes.
Corey!
While we're waiting, what is your favorite obscure system?
There's a thing for free art up there too.
Yeah, she's an artist. She draws great. She's in my book.
In a Wicked Age. In a Wicked Age. Nice choice. Nice choice.
Alex.
5 rings. Legend of the 5 Rings. That's obscure, but that's okay.
James.
More obscure corporation. Corporation. Fair enough.
Emily. Nathaniel.
I said obscure.
Not just old.
Everyone, we're going to give everyone a chance. Really quickly, the panelists here a lot of us are doing games on demand. We're like in the games we're here all weekend. A lot of the games you mentioned are being run at games on demand. They're not trying to sell you anything. What? So if you want to try some of these games, a lot of them are games on demand with other GMs besides us. It's not just us, a lot of people. And they are running until like 2 a.m. today, from 12 to 6 tomorrow. So go play games. They just want to play games with you. It's going to be awesome. We've got business cards. I'm not being, we're all disheveled. So thank you for coming. Give yourself a round of applause. So you can slowly come up and take a look at this.